What's up, guys? This is Tyler from House of Cards TCG coming at you with another video. And what I'm bringing you today is going to be my post Photon Hypernova deck profile. This is what I'm probably going to be playing all next format. I have gone through all the different styles of Springans and the new support that they got. The Rhoda Soul Charge, which is also follow-up, is absolutely insane, along with the new XYZ. And I believe that those two new cards have broke this deck. And I've been playing with the deck. I've tried the different styles, which is, there's a Sprite variant, there's a Albaz variant, there's a rank 8, turbo variant. But I believe that I found the best version of this deck, and it's absolutely broken. The boards that you set up are unbreakable, and they can create the follow-up. So I'm super excited to be playing this. I've had some test duels with this deck. I've made some changes, and this deck's only going to get better as the format progresses. But so far right now, this will definitely be my deck for the next format. It's Springans Adventure with a Regulus. So Springans Adventure, Therions. And I'm going to start with the test video, show you the combo, and then we'll go over the deck profile. So let's go ahead and jump right into the combo video. So the deck is really consistent. I'm going to show you here. So if you look at my test hands, I just drew this card, just hit the test so I could show you. So we have Kit, which is really the 2-card combo of the Springans engine. Is you want Field Spell with a monster, and then that's really going to get you, your full combo, as well as you get the right of Aramasir. That's just the extra that you need. So let's go ahead and start here. And also, having the Tally Ho in hand will actually make it so you can search Regulus versus having to search this with the XYZ. So that gets you a Regulus on top. Here with this combo video, I'm going to go ahead and play it a little risky. The reason why I'm going to play is risky so I can show you the full power of this deck and what it can do. So here you could search Griffin, and then you could discard a card. But I want to go ahead, and again, because I don't want to get rid of the Imperm, and I don't want to get rid of the Booty. The Booty is the access to our field spell, and I definitely don't want to get rid of Tally Ho. Is the best card in the deck for sure. We could get rid of the Imperm, go ahead and search the Griffin, and then that's going to allow us to have the Omni Negate, which, in all fairness, if I was playing this deck, I would probably do. So I don't want to go ahead and, Imperm is that going second card. We'll go ahead and ditch the Imperm for the Griffin. But again, that's still going to allow me to show you the full combo video. So we'll ditch that. We'll go ahead and activate Griffin. Griffin's going to go ahead and special out. That's going to allow us, their Faithful to go off. Obviously, you know how this works. You go ahead and grab the Draco back. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hold Draco back, because what I'm going to do for Draco back is use it to shuffle back for our Kit to provide us with the follow-up. So we'll go ahead and activate the Booty. The Booty then is going to go ahead and activates our field spell. And then we're going to use our field spell, discarding our Kit. So when we look at this, we have a Kit in hand. So we want to get access to Rocky, and we want to get access to Brother. Those two cards are basically what's going to facilitate your full combo. So the field spell goes ahead and brings out the Merrymaker. Merrymaker is going to go ahead and activate, and then it's going to go ahead and dump Brother. Brother is then going to activate, and then that's going to go ahead and special back our Kit. And then that's one of the 3 monsters that we want on the field. We're going to go ahead and use Kit's effect. Kit's going to go ahead and search out the Branded in High Spirits, and then we're going to go ahead and put back Draco back. The reason why is because our full combo is so good that we want to do that. Now, with this right here, Branded in High Spirits, we do need a monster to reveal in the discard. We're going to try to get to Brenga. You kind of always want to use Brenga with the Branded in High Spirits. So now what we're going to do is, first, before we do that, I almost forgot, we're going to use Brother's effect. Brother's going to go ahead and attach itself to the Merrymaker. That's going to allow it to have Merrymaker and Brother for when we overlay our new XYZ. Make sure to overlay this up in the extra monster zone. So Champion Zargus is going to go ahead and search us out our missing piece. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and search ourselves out a Rocky. I apologize. Tally Ho is going to search us Rocky, and it's going to go ahead and special summon. So we already have that. So here we want to go ahead and grab ourselves a Regulus. Now the lines that we could go is we could go Regulus, because then we won't have the follow-up with the Kit, which is fine. So we'll go ahead and grab Regulus because we already have the Tally Ho. Now we're going to go ahead and activate Tally Ho, detaching 2 materials. Now here what we want to do is we want to go ahead and special summon out our... we're going to add our Rocky, because it's our missing piece that we need. And we're going to go ahead and special summon out the Brother and the Rocky. Yep. Now here, this is going to allow us to get into our rank 4s. So we can go ahead and we could have used the Rocky. Rocky could go ahead and add back Merrymaker. That's something that you should note. So Rocky's effect, you can activate and shuffle back the Merrymaker back into the extra deck. Here, with our Branded in High Spirits, I always like to try to have that follow-up with the Kit in hand also. So we can use the Gigante X, and then X's can go ahead and grab us our Rocky, which is going to be our follow-up. So we're actually not going to search a another Kit here, but we are going to go ahead and activate the High Spirits. We could reveal the Regulus. That's going to go ahead and send the Sprend. We're not going to add another copy of Kit to hand because, again, I don't want to discard the Regulus. And I'll show you what that does there. We go into Gontic X, activates. That's going to discard that. That's going to go ahead and search out our Rocky. Here we have to normal summon our Rocky because we haven't done our normal summon yet. But that's going to allow us to get into our Draco. So I have Abyss Dweller. You can make another Merrymaker, or you could just go Abyss Dweller. Because if we're going into Draco, we're probably not going to... We're not playing tier limits, because if it was tier limits, we would just leave Abyss Dweller. That's a whole different line. And then here, you go into the Utopia Future. And then you want to go ahead and overlay for the Draco. So now we have Draco and we have our Griffin on field. And now we can go ahead and activate our Regulus. Regulus can target any of these. We could just go ahead and target the Merrymaker. And again, this is like full combo, obviously. So this is using all your resources. So you didn't have to search Regulus. You could have kept a Rocky. You could have had a Kit in hand. You could also end on that with the Kit and Rocky for follow-up. And then after all this, you go into the end phase. You're going to go ahead and activate Sprend. Sprend effect will then bring out your Captain Sargus from deck. And so what you end on here is essentially with... Go through it all. We'll go ahead and go to the next turn so we can draw. And we ended up drawing a Springans anyway, so it doesn't matter. We drew our Brenga. Brenga is going to go allow us to do a lot of things. But so what do you have here? Obviously, so you have Griffin Negate. You have an Omni Negate and Regulus, and it sends itself. You have Sargus. So what Sargus does on your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can detach one material from an XYZ you control, which is obviously here. We have 3 material attached to our Draco, and you allow it to pop a face-up card. That can be a spell, trap, or a monster. Draco is detached for a monster negate, and then you get to Snatch Steal if you had the room. Obviously, you would have to use Griffin, and then that would free up the room for Draco to Snatch Steal, or use Regulus, and then you have the room. And then what this card does is, if an XYZ you control would detach a material, detach a monster on the field. If a material is detached from a monster on the field, which would be your Draco when it activates its effect, or this card when you activate its pop, then you can bounce a card or pop another card. So the bounce is free because if you're playing tier limits, then you can just bounce a card versus destroying it. So this is obviously like the broken end board. Then you can still go Fateful, do more stuff. We drew our Brenga. So it's cracked. It's insane. So I'll show you a different combo line, which is, again, if you're searching the trap, you have to search the Tally Ho with your XYZ. So let's just go ahead and hit reset. Let's see what happens before we get into the deck profile. Okay, so here we have the two monsters here, which is good. You want to do those, and then you have the access to the right of our Ramesir, which is really good as well. So that's still going to be a combo, the line that you could do. I want to try and see. Okay, so here, instead of going for the Regulus, we're going to go with the same play. Instead, here, this is actually a really good example of what you can do. So we'll go ahead and use the Enchantress. Enchantress searches this. We'll go different line. This is not going for the Regulus because we don't have Tally Ho. So we go Enchantress here, place the Journey of Destiny. And we're going to be able to actually foolish our... this time we're going to go ahead and foolish our Brenga. Going to activate this. This is going to allow us to get to our card here. We activate. We'll go ahead and grab the Griffin, discard the right of Ramesir. That way we have those plays. We'll go ahead and activate here. Again, same combo line, essentially. Activate the Fateful. And then that's going to go ahead and grab us our Draco back. Now we can go with our Springans lines. So we'll go ahead and activate the field spell, discarding the Kit. That's going to go ahead and bring out the Merrymaker. It's the same line. There's different things, but again, we're going to go with a different combo line this time. So we send, again, same thing. Activate the Brothers, brings back the Kit. Kit's going to go ahead and come out. We'll activate Kit. Kit's going to go search the Branded and High Spirits. And we'll put back the Draco back again. Then we're going to go ahead and do the Brothers. Brothers will go ahead and attach to our Merrymaker. And then we'll overlay for the rank 8. Now, again, here, the different lay here is we don't have our Tally-Ho. Tally-Ho we have to get to, so we're going to use the rank 8 this time to go ahead and search ourselves the Tally-Ho. And then that's going to go ahead and we have 2 materials under here. So when we activate the Tally-Ho, detach those 2 materials. Remember, we sent Brenga this time. We could have used Brenga to search out the Tally-Ho, but we're going to go with a different line. Again, that's what I'm showing you here. So we're going to go ahead and add ourselves a Rocky, because we don't have Rocky yet. Special summon out our Rocky and our Brothers. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate Rocky's effect. Rocky's going to go ahead and add us back our Brenga to hand. So we grab Brenga, activate our Branded and High Spirits. This time it's going to use Brenga as the reveal instead of a Regulus. Dumps the Sprint, and we are going to add ourselves another Kit for follow-up because, again, we want Brenga in the graveyard. And now we do the same lines. So this time we're going to have follow-up, which is the Rocky in hand. So we use the Gigantic X, just detaching the Rocky. That's going to go ahead and search ourselves a Rocky. And that we're going to be able to keep for follow-up because what we're going to do this time is we'll go ahead and activate our Kit. Kit will then come out. Again, same combo line. Go Abyss Dweller. You could keep Abyss Dweller on the field if you want. It's up to you. Again, depends on your matchup. This is still in the testing phase. This is just what I've come up with so far. But it's very consistent deck. Very, very, very consistent deck. And now this time, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and use Brenga. We'll go ahead and just banish this because we have no need for that. We didn't summon it legally, so we can't even bring it back. And then this time what we're going to do is we're going to search for this. This is Springans Blast. It's basically a searchable imperm is essentially what this card is. So it's negates a whole monster zone. So when your opponent has a monster that, the zone is just negated. This can be useful in like the middle zone where a lot of times your opponent will summon. So we set that. We have our follow-up. Again, we go to end phase. That's going to go ahead and activate the Sprint. Sprint brings out our Captain Sargus. And again, looking at the same thing, the only thing you're missing is you traded a Regulus for a back row. That could be good if you get Dark Rulered. So I do think that there's some applications for this to do this line versus the other line. Instead of having the Regulus, you have a back row and you have follow-up, which is guaranteed to have your Rocky in hand to use for next turn. So if your board gets cracked, then you still have that follow-up. So overall, I really love this deck. I think it's amazing. So let's just hop right into the deck profile now, and we'll get into that. So our deck profile, we're going to go card for card. Again, this is subject to change. I'm still messing with different options here, but you're going to play one Regulus. I've tried with playing the field spell, and I've tried with playing multiple Regulus. It's really bricky, so you really only need to have the one Regulus. I have 3 Rocky in here because I think it's the most important one. You want to open a Rocky, and you want to have one for follow-up. So 3 Rocky I think is good. 2 Brother, you always want to send it. If you have it in hand, it's not the worst thing, but you want to make sure you have one in deck to send. That way you can activate his effect. And it only gets its effect if it's sent to your deck or graveyard. And if it's sent from hand or deck to the graveyard. And a lot of times with the combo, you want to make sure you send it with Merrymaker. Then you have 1 Captain Sargus. Again, it's just a special summon off of Sprend. I only play 1 Brenga because it has application, and even opening Brenga or Sargus isn't the end of the world. You can still combo with it, so just playing 1 for now. I am looking at playing with Kashtira or with the tier limits where it sends, and so you may bump this to 2. Again, still in testing. I have the 3 Kit with the 1 Branded and High Spirits. I felt like this was really good. Kit is you want to open with the field spell, and that's fine, but you don't want to open too many Branded and High Spirits. So I don't think you should play 3. I think that the 3 Kit are more important for the comboing with the 1 Branded and High Spirits. And then you really want to just make sure you have access to the field spell. So you have 3 of the field spell, 3 of the booty, so is another way to get to the field spell. So that's 6 copies essentially. Doesn't really have any application other than that. But Springans Watch does. If this card allows you to get to the field spell, or if you already have the field spell, it's broken because it allows you to add and dump 1. So that on itself is insane. It's definitely a huge extender. So if you're allowed to, if you can get to this card and the field spell, that's full combo for sure. Otherwise, it's another copy of the field spell. So that puts you at 9. Terraforming puts you at 10. Tally Ho is the soul charge rota as well as follow up. So the reason why it's a rota is you get to add, and then you could detach up to 3 materials from monsters you control. Again, that's monsters you control. So if you have Gigant X as well as the Merrymaker with the rank 8 over top, the Champion Sargus, you could detach from 2 materials from Champion Sargus and 1 from Gigantic X, and that allows you to special summon 3 monsters. With what I've found in testing this deck is when you play the Adventure Engine, you don't really have the zones to special summon out 3 monsters as you would in other variants like the Sprite variant, and I felt like the Adventure Engine is too powerful to not play. So with that, you're really only detaching 2, but you could detach up to 3, and in other variants you do. I play the 1 Springans Blast as well as the follow-up. So all you have to do is banish this card and a Springans card. Target 1 XYZ on the field, detach 1 material from it, and then you can add this card back to hand. So that card is... it's insane. It's insane. So yeah, you can just detach a material, add this back to hand for follow-up. Crazy, because the whole deck is XYZs. Springans Blast, this is that imperm that's searchable. You could cut this if you want. It's not mandatory, but I felt like having a searchable imperm is really good. Terraforming, I play Foolish because I'm only going to play 2 Enchantress, I think. I don't want to get too bulky with the Adventure Engine. Yeah, it's good, but I think that Foolish can send this if you need access to the Rite of Aramesir, if you don't have it, or Foolish can send your Brenga. So I felt like Foolish was better than the 3rd Enchantress because, again, if you have this, you don't want to open up too much of the Adventure Engine without your Springans engine, and this obviously sending Brenga or sending the brothers is really, really good. So I play Foolish over the 3rd Enchantress. Again, still testing out that with 1 Faithful, 3 Right, 2 Enchantress, 1 Draco, 1 Griffin. And again, I think you saw you don't have to normal summon in this deck. The normal summon is very free. Like, you do not need a normal summon at all. So you can main deck Lava Golem. That's a very powerful going second card. You don't have to play Book of Eclipse or anything like that. Lava Golem is free. The other thing with Lava Golem, so you could Lava Golem your opponent, get into your Adventure Engine, Draco back, bounce Lava Golem. You could Lava Golem again, and then you could use your rank 8 because you saw the times it was trying to activate its effect. You could bounce your Lava Golem back to your hand again and have that for the following turn if you don't OTK them. So Lava Golem is insane. It can be bounced by Draco back, or it can be bounced by the Champion Sargus and put back into your hand. And then, of course, Imperm is just really good going first or second, so I have that in the deck. For the extra deck, I have 1 Sprint. You saw I sent that, and that allows you to special summon your Captain Sargus at end phase. I put 2 Zeus here. You could cut to 1, but of course Kashtira rips the card. This isn't a Zeus turbo deck by any means. It is way too powerful to be a Zeus turbo, so you could go to 1 very easily in this deck. And I've actually considered going to 1. The reason why I think I go to 1 is because I want Kashtira to rip the Zeus from my deck, because as long as I have the rest of my engine, I can play. So you could definitely go to 1 Zeus. It's not necessary. You could play another Springans. You could play the Springans ship that's goes into that. You could play a lot of... I have different options down here. 2 Champion Sargus, because this card's broken. You overlay it onto the Merrymaker, and then it searches you a Springans or a Therion card, which is insane. And then also being able to pop or destroy a card. So anytime that a material is detached from a monster on the field, you get to either pop or return to hand. That effect is broken because if you're playing, tier limits, you don't want to pop. You want to return to hand. But if you play in Kashtira, you could just pop and get rid of the XYZ. It's just broken. So this is really good. The Merrymaker, I have it at 2. You can special summon it. The Gigantax, that searches your follow-up. I also have in the side deck, you could play the Nateria, Exterio, and Cyberstein. I was actually considering side decking these 2 cards specifically for back row matchups or for heavy spell matchups like Floowandereeze. I know Floowandereeze plays Dark Ruler, but if you could side these cards in, that's insane for that matchup. So Giganta X can actually search Cyberstein, then you can normal out the Cyberstein, and then you can go ahead and bring out the Nateria Exteria. Now keep in mind, with the Adventure Engine, you can't, if you normal out Cyberstein, you can't activate the effect because you're using the Rite of Aramesir. But you can play Platinum Gadget. Platinum Gadget can special summon out the Cyberstein, and then that allows you to activate Cyberstein's effect to special out the Exterio and the Infinite Negate for trap and spells. So that is really good for back row. So I'm considering siding these 2 cards for back row matchups or something else that maybe the Adventure Engine isn't as impactful against. And And then we have the Abyss Dweller for tier limits, of course. And again, if you're not playing something that requires graveyards and plays a lot in the graveyards, then you could just overlay those two for your Future or your Draco. I may throw in another level rank 4 into here, maybe cutting the Zeus and maybe putting like Extension Knight, because I think this card is going to be really good. It allows you to detach material, destroy all the other cards on the field. So this could be maybe my rank 4 that I add in here. Maybe I cut the Zeus and add this card in, because then I could just overlay Giganta X and Extension. Again, same thing, rather than wasting my Abyss Dweller. This is going to be crazy because it's a Snatch Steal. It's basically destroys, you know, Kashtira, the Wonderies. It's a very good card. So I think that being able to go into this card is going to be insane. Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess is broken, especially against Kashtira, because their continuous spell, that's their follow-up, says that you can special summon from graveyard or banished. So this card can negate that continuous spell every time until you pop it or get rid of it, as well as it can use their XYZ. It's just, this card is just good in general, just against a lot of things. And then you have your Appaloosa for a different matchup. If you're going against Floowandereeze, you probably don't want a full combo like that. Again, these are all flex spots right now that I'm still working with. You could play more, a lot of different other things. So right now I have IP, Unicorn, Appaloosa, and Underworld. I love IP, Unicorn, and Underworld. I do love those three cards specifically. Appaloosa is definitely a flex. Again, having an extra Zeus, you could do a different package. So I'll go into some other cards. I talked to you about the Neterio Exterio as well as Cyberstein and the Platinum Gadget. Access Code is obviously really good. The reason why I don't like Access Code is because it's all Dark Links. So you really only get one pop. And then you could play Boral Sword instead. Boral Sword could be a good tech option. I just have some more rank 4s. There is the level 8 Turbo, so you could play Feral Knight. And so what King of Feral Imps, I apologize. So it detaches one material from the card, add one reptile monster, and you want to go ahead and add the Supreme Sovereign Servant. So if you have the field spell on field, this is a free summon, and it's level 8. And then if you can get into your Captain Sargus and your Brenga, or if you get into, you know, Regulus with your Lily, because this is in the level 8 Turbo, trade in with the Lily, the Regulus, the Sargus, and the Brenga, along with the Serpent. There's actually this card that exists. It's called Coach King Giant Trainer. And what it does is allows you to draw 3 cards. It's just crazy, right? So you just overlay 3 monsters with it, and you just draw 1 card. You detach 1 material from this card, draw 1 card. So you just detach 3 materials, draw 3 cards. Absolutely broken. So there is that version. You can Scythe Lock in this deck because you have the rank 8, which is a pop, right? So it just pops any card, target 1 card in the field and destroys it. So you could do Dagda plays with Scythe, and then you could go ahead and pop that with the rank 8. That's something that I've looked into, but I think that I will agree. I'll look at everybody in the eye and say, we're all over the Scythe Locking. Let's not go back into that, right? But it's good, something to know. There is a Albaz variant of this deck, and then you could play Mirror Jade and get that out. I did not like that at all. There's a Sprite variant where you could play 1 Smashers, 1 Starter, a Jet in red, and a blue with the Gigantic Sprite and the Sprite Elf. I felt that was way too bricky. I didn't like that. It just doesn't do enough like the Adventure Engine does. I'd rather play the Adventure Engine over the Sprite variant any day. It just didn't do enough. The Adventure Engine provides that Omni Negate up front, which is important in this deck. And again, like I said, you have this. And then you could play more of a field spell heavy deck because you do play Terraformer. You could play Set Rotation. And if you have access to your field spell, you could give them a copy of that and search other things like Necro Valley or like Zombie World. So I'm still working on different things like that. I could add Set Rotation to this list. And then that allows me to play field spells in the side deck. So if I'm going up against a certain match, I can search those field spells. It does cut off your follow-up though. So that is pretty much my deck profile. Again, this deck is cracked. I think this deck is insane. I'm going to be playing it all format. I'm going to be getting better with it, changing my extra deck up, changing my side deck up a lot. I'm thoroughly excited to be playing this deck. So I wanted to bring it to you guys now so you can get ready, so you can order your cards. February 10th, this comes out. And this deck is going to compete with a lot of these other decks. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hope you liked this deck profile. This has been Tyler with House of Cards TCG. Make sure to subscribe. We appreciate everybody. We're happy to be making these videos and back into this format. So you guys enjoy. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you on the next video.